Join me as I build my first ever coaster in Planet Coaster 2. It's time for a new episode of Puerto del Sol, where we'll be adding our first coaster to the park. The theme of the coaster is Spanish vineyard, and I really hope you guys will like it. And we will also expand our little Mediterranean town that we started to build in the first episode. Hello guys, this is Cesar Creates and welcome back to my channel. And welcome back to Puerto del Sol. It is time for a second episode of this new series on my channel, of course in the newly released Planet Coaster 2. Today I'm up for a great challenge because I will be creating my first ever coaster in this game. I am very curious of how it will turn out, and I also cannot wait to hear your opinion about this. I hope you will like it. Okay, maybe it's not like my first ever coaster, because while preparing for recording this episode and building this whole thing, I went through some career scenarios in Planet Coaster 2 because I wanted to learn the basics of creating the coasters. But in there, it wasn't anything like crazy. I placed some blueprints, I did some very simple designs, and in here, I just want to go full in, build the entire station, build the entire custom coaster and all the scenery around it and all that jazz, and I really hope you guys will enjoy it. As you guys can see, I'm creating the whole layout of the coaster right now, so this is the first thing that I went for. Of course, there are some cuts in the speed build because I was figuring things out. But overall, I was quite surprised of how quick I was able to just build the entire track for this coaster. Of course, it isn't the largest one, but this is one that we are starting with, so I didn't want to go like, I don't know, full in the first episode near the entrance. Of course, we'll have those big ground coasters later during our series, but we are sort of starting small because of course, I need to learn about this game more to be able to build those incredible, amazing, like huge loops and twisted coasters. But there will be time for everything. So some of you who are coaster fans probably already recognize this and know what my inspiration for this was. Because of course, building my first ever coaster without any reference would be just impossible for me because I just don't know if I would be able to build something realistic. So again, I went for something from the park that inspired this whole build, Port Aventura from Spain. And this will be my interpretation of the coaster from Port Aventura called Furious Baco. Of course, it won't be like a full recreation, but I was very inspired by this coaster in real life and I wanted to build something similar in here. So for those who know this coaster, you will right away see that this is a different type of coaster. Furious Baco in Port Aventura is known for its speed, so it reaches 135 kilometers per hour in just something like over 3 seconds because it is this launch coaster that uses the hydraulic launches. And just at the beginning of the whole ride, you have like a little video played out and little, I don't know, animatronics or anything, and then suddenly it is just launched with this incredible speed. And I think that this is actually the second fastest roller coaster in Europe, which is just amazing. And in here, I also wanted to go for this launch coaster because I also wanted to have something very fast but not too like long in the whole layout. So this is just as the whole Furious Baco is, but they use like the totally different design of the coaster. So they have this like barrel in the middle, and then there's those like wings on the sides of the barrel where there's like 2 pairs of seats on each side. We have a coaster like this in Planet Coaster. It is like a wing coaster or anything, but it doesn't have this launch mechanic or this launch option. And it's a bit of pity that not every coaster has this. I think that some more of those could have those hydraulic launches because it is so cool. And thanks to that, I will be able to recreate that a little bit more and more accurate. But I was just, doing the best that I can with the available coasters. And I also like did my custom design of the coaster using the barrels, some crates. I actually attached a lot of those wooden elements elements to it. I know that this would probably affect the coaster's aerodynamics, but I still wanted to have something using the barrel. I still wanted to make it look nice, unique, and so on. That's why I decided to go for it. The whole theme of the coaster, basically, maybe this is something that I should start with, is sort of like a Mediterranean vineyard. So we will definitely go for that. There will be a lot of barrels inside of the station, and we'll also have a lot of like grapes just growing like in the front of the coaster. So it all looks like a huge vineyard, just with a coaster in there. Sounds a bit absurd, but let's face it, most of the theme parks are a bit absurd. You have those crazy big rides with this crazy theming a lot of times, so I don't think that this is quite a stretch or anything. Okay, but before we'll talk more about this coaster and everything that we will do in today's video, I wanted to quickly go back to the first episode of the Puerto del Sol and your reaction to that video, because that was something that I didn't totally expect, so thank you so much. Going straight from so many years of playing Planet Zoo to being totally new in Planet Coaster world and community, and receiving so many views, so many comments, like incredible comments, so many likes, it just was so amazing. I felt like such a warm welcome from you guys in this new community. The comments, oh my god, you guys, I didn't expect that at all. A lot of you loved the theme of this park, loved the things that I created for the first episodes. A lot of you were happy that you found me here on YouTube because you really enjoyed the video. So I just hope that you will enjoy this series more and more as we'll continue with it and expand our park, build more things for it, because I'm enjoying myself so much playing this game. Of course, again, it has some issues. We'll talk maybe more about this in the second, but you guys, oh my god, thank you again, because as I told you in the first episode, I was a bit uncertain if I should even play this game because I don't know anything about theme parks. I am a total zoo person. I love zoos, I love animals, and I just, you know, I started my channel because of Planet Zoo and I didn't like have any plans of building coasters in here, and suddenly I am doing this, I am enjoying this, and you guys seem to enjoy it as well, so thank you so much. To me it means the world. If by any chance you are watching this and you haven't seen the first episode of this series when I talk more about my plans and how I want this to look like and all the things like this, I will put the link down in the description and on the screen, so you can go and check it out. In there I am also sort of introducing myself, talking more about me, who I am, and so on. So if you are interested in that, there's also this whole section in the video. I actually had some comments from people who were watching my channel for quite some time, like years or even months, and said that they were still able to learn a lot about me and they didn't know about those things about me, so that was quite funny. Again, as always, some of you were super surprised that I'm from Poland. I don't know, I get this every time. I think that this is like an accent thing or anything. Like a lot of people like from Poland have this like very strong accent when they are talking in English, and that's totally okay. Like not everyone has to have this perfect British English accent or American. We can have our own, right? I don't know where my accent is coming from. I get a lot of like Scandinavian or Dutch or anything, but no, I'm actually from Poland and I am just, you know, trying my best to talk in English, and this is how I sound. And also huge thanks to all the Spanish people who reached out to me. As I told you in the first video, this is inspired by PortAventura in Spain, and the first like a section of the park is like heavily inspired by the Mediterranean region of Spain, and a lot of you commented that you're from Spain, and I absolutely nailed it, that you loved the things that I did, so thank you so much. Actually, you shared with me some Spanish words. I must admit that I know some of them, because another fun fact about me, I used to learn Spanish, so I understand quite a lot of Spanish. I also used to spend spend a lot of time in Spain when I was younger because my father has this crazy thing about sailing and boats, and it's like his biggest hobby, so he still does it. But of course I am an adult now and I'm not like spending so much time with my father, but yeah, he used to love sailing in Spain. So when I was younger, I used to spend a lot of time there during my summer times because we were simply sailing or we were just living on a boat. That's why I also decided to learn Spanish for several years. But the thing is that when you are not using the language, you sort of forget about this, and talking is so hard when you are not using it. I understand quite a lot in Spanish, but unfortunately when I start to, for example, talk to a Spanish person, I, for example, start the conversation because I just know what I want to tell, then they are responding, and then I'm just, okay, I'm done. I'm responding in English because I just don't know what to say. Hola, yo hablo un poquito de español y encantado de verlos aquí. For those who don't know Spanish, it meant, I hope, I speak a little Spanish and it's so nice to see you here. Of course, correct me if I'm wrong, but I hope that it was accurate. Two more things that I wanted to mention from the first video, or from your comments from the first video, before we'll talk more about today's episode. First thing, a lot of you pointed out that I used the dollar signs in the prices that I included next to the entrance for the tickets to our park. Of course, I know that we have euros in Spain, but unfortunately for some reason the euro sign doesn't work on those like custom signs in Planet Coaster. I don't know, maybe it was a font that they just don't have the sign. I'll probably end up changing it to just euro, just, you know, written word. So this is something that I will do to be more accurate, but thank you for pointing that out. And the second thing is that a lot of you were very like, some of you were happy and some of you were just, you know, also leaving my comments, okay, you are just recreating Port Aventura and that's it, or something. And I just wanted to clarify that, of course, the entrance is heavily inspired by Port Aventura. The first ride is also heavily inspired, and the village that we'll build in here, like the whole like Mediterranean town, it will be also inspired by this. But this entire park will definitely not be like a total recreation of Port Aventura. I will just branch out in different like sections and stuff because I don't want to make it a full recreation. I think it limits the creativity a bit, but I wanted to have this starting point, a point of reference, just because I am new to this game and I am new to park building. But when we'll be building different sections in this park, I will definitely go for some different inspirations from the parks from all around the world. So this is something that I wanted to clarify because I saw some excitement from you guys that, oh my god, you are recreating Port Aventura. And no, this will be a total recreation, just some part. I hope I didn't just disappoint some of you, but yeah, this is my plan for this series. Okay, so while I was talking about the first episode of this series, we actually did quite a lot of things when it comes to our first coaster in Puerto del Sol. So the whole layout of the coaster is of course done. We also attached some scenery pieces to the coaster, which is a new thing about the Planet Coaster 2. You can now do that. The pieces will just, you know, travel with the coaster around the whole track. Unfortunately, it has some issues, especially for this coaster. I don't know why, but on those like turns and loops and stuff, the pieces come a bit like untouched from the coaster, and it doesn't look that good, but I still left them because I just like the design and I think it just works with the whole decoration of the whole vineyard that we are building here. So just to let you know that you might see some like crazy things when we will actually watch the coaster like go through the whole like track and stuff. After every video that we'll actually be building the coaster, just like this one, we'll of course have the POV of the whole ride at the end of the video, as well as some cinematic shots from all the sides of the ride, so you guys can see what I did here and also feel like you are actually riding this coaster. I think that this is one of the the best things about this game, like riding the coasters, of course, and enjoying our creations from the guest perspective. So this is something that we'll totally include in every video that we'll be adding a new coaster. And this will definitely not be the case for all the videos. In the next one, I will probably add like a hotel for the guests with a swimming pool, because this is something that they also have in Port Aventura. Okay, I know that I'll be creating quite a lot of things from this park, but in the later stage of the video, of the series, I will definitely go for some other things. But I really like the hotel that they have in there, and I also want to recreate that, and I think that we'll do it in the next video. So we'll add our first swimming pool in there, and also I think that soon we'll also go for like a water park in there, because this is also my plan. So yeah, a bit insight for the plans for the series. The whole Mediterranean section in here will be basically quite big. I actually did some work in there for this episode as well, actually before building the coaster, but in here in the video the order will be a bit reversed. So we are firstly building the coaster because I wanted to have this more like exciting thing at the beginning of the video, and then I will show you a bit of building some more buildings next to the entrance that I did. I actually created quite a lot of buildings. That's why this whole build took me so long, because creating those buildings take some time, and I am still not as, you know, used to building in this game, creating things, and I just want to make this whole Mediterranean town simply look nice, so I am paying a lot of attention to the details and stuff. And we did for today's video actually the things that I wanted to create for the first episode. So there will be quite a lot of new buildings, but the buildings will lead to those little gates where the guests will scan their tickets when they will actually buy them at the ticket booths that we created for the first episode. I wanted to create all that for the first one, but it would just be so long, and I didn't have such a long time in the early access time for Planet Coaster 2, so that's why I couldn't do it. But yeah, finally in this episode, everything up to the scanning things is done. So we also have like a tower and everything. Of course, I will show you this soon in the cinematics by the end of the video, and I will also try to do, I don't know if I will be able to do it, but I will try to do a little before and after to see, for you to see how much has changed and how much I actually added in this video. It is so much easier in Planet Zoo because we have this like whole cinematic mode where you can do those tours and stuff, and then you know, we can do the tour before you build, and after, you know, build and do the tour is sort of like saved on the map, so we can do it again and just show this whole process of changes. In here I'll kind of have an idea of how I can make it using my old save file, so I will try to also do like a nice smooth before and after for this one as well in the cinematic shots. So definitely stay tuned, because yeah, I added quite a lot and I'm quite proud of myself, but I definitely spent a lot of time this week playing this game, like a lot of time. And right now I'm sort of excited to go back to my older things. So for those who are watching and are wondering when the new Planet Zoo video will be out, this will be the next thing. So we are doing quite a small break from Planet Coaster 2 for some time, and right now I will add a Planet Zoo video for my Planet Zoo lovers, friends, and all the people that enjoy this game. I just wanted to mention that because I had some questions from you guys when I'll be back in Planet Zoo, and don't worry, it will be quite soon. So the whole vineyard that we are building right now, or the station of the coaster that is like vineyard themed, is on the little like hill. So I had to like create the hill and decorate it, which we'll do later, with a lot of rocks, a lot of different kinds of plants, of course, and create a whole like vineyard. So we'll have those growing grapes in there for vino tinto, which I think is red wine in Spanish, because the grapes are simply like those purple ones. And I think that the vineyard is called viñedo, if I am correct. So yeah, this is something that we are creating today. So now I'm not showing off that I know Spanish, but I quite am proud of remembering some of those names. especially that I haven't been to Spanish lessons for so long. Of course, the whole building is inspired by the Mediterranean region, so we have these typical colors and the roof that we were using for the buildings in the first episode. And because it's a vineyard, I will be using a lot of barrels and crates inside of this building for some theming. When the guests will be waiting in the queue for to go for this track, for this coaster, they'll just spend time in this vineyard in there with this theming, which I thought it will be nice. Of course, the whole theme of wines and vineyards will be probably more appealing to our adult guests than children, but we'll also have a dedicated children area in this park, I think, so I hope that everyone will find their place in there. What is also cool about Port Aventura is that they actually have this vineyard in there. I think that the grapes are really growing there, and next to that, this is something that we'll create in the future. They have a restaurant with wine and like a wine bar, and also tapas, which we'll also do, so very nice stuff. And I think that this is so cool that I don't know, maybe they are doing the wine in there. I don't know about this, but that will be amazing actually. Outside of the building, I also created like a little, I don't know, backstage area for this coaster. I definitely don't know much about those things, but I think that I saw on Google Maps that they have something like this in there, so I tried to make add there some like pieces of the track and all the metal pieces, so it looks like the track can be maintained with those pieces or anything like the coaster. This is something that I totally want to explore more in the future, because as you guys know, I really enjoy building like backstage areas for animals in Planet Zoo. So every time we are building a shelter, there's a interior for those animals with stalls, with I don't know, different means of holding them inside, and keeper things like sinks and everything. So this is something that I really want to explore in here. The thing is that in Planet Zoo I am often using some blueprints for this, especially for smaller pieces like, I don't know, fire extinguishers or any other things, like done with by a lot of super talented creators that are uploading their creations to the workshop. And in here I think that I will do the same. I will also use the blueprints. Of course, I love to showcase the work of those very talented people that are sharing their creations with us, especially for those smaller things. My brain just doesn't work in that way. I'm unable to create those signs from font pieces, or I don't know, things like, I don't know, just tiny things in this game, because first of all, I don't have a patience. Second of all, I don't have a time for it, and I am gladly using the blueprints and showcasing those really talented people. So in here, the workshop is already working, so I am sure that we'll see a lot of those things being added to the game eventually. So as you guys could see, we did a lot of work in the interior of the station. We added a lot of theming, so a lot of, there's simply barrels and stuff. Also, I added those turning wheels on the wall, which I thought it was really nice, and I wanted to use this new animatronic of just a turning thing that you can attach things to, and in the end I really like this detail. I think it brings a lot of life to this station. And I also created like little shelves. This is something that I saw during my theme park visits. This is something like, if you have a backpack or a bag with you or anything, you cannot take it to the coaster because simply you can drop it, it can fly away somewhere in those crazy speed loops and stuff. So you are just, taking your bag and putting it in there and picking it up when you are done riding the coaster. So this is something that I also wanted to recreate, and I sort of wish that actually Frontier did those pieces for us. It will be easier. Of course, this is very easy to recreate, but this is something that you see in coasters, and something that naturally should be in the game. And also, I'm quite surprised that I talked about fire extinguishers, for example, that we don't have more pieces like this in the game, because this is something that you just see, and I think is even required for coasters and stuff in the theme parks and stuff, because if something happens, if something just lights up on fire, you need to have it near you, for the stuff. So it would be so nice to have things like fire extinguisher, like brooms, like rakes, and all this stuff like that for the maintenance of the station, of the rides. And yeah, just more pieces like this, that would be so amazing. Besides the obvious things that I already talked about, like glass pieces that are missing, I should probably ask this at the beginning of the video, but I totally forgot. So the game is out right now, so you guys are all able to play it yourself, like to enjoy it, and let me know down in the comments what you actually think about the game. Do you like it? Do you enjoy it? Do you think it has a lot of issues, or are you totally fine and you love the game? Like, it is always so interesting for me to hear. I am recording this voiceover on the day that Planet actually announced a new patch for the game that will be resolving a lot of things like the flume mechanics and also the limit of the guests in the sandbox mode. So it is so amazing that they actually listen to the community and they add the things that we really want in the game. I really wish for glass pieces. I hope that they will be adding them as well. So I just wanted to tell you this because I also saw some like maybe little complaints under my first video that you guys didn't like some things in the game, and that will be so much more powerful if you can actually use the time that you just spent writing this comment under my video and instead write it somewhere on Planet Coaster social media or their YouTube channel or anywhere on Twitter, on Instagram, because this is where they actually will see your comment, will see your concern, and they can do something about it. And as we can see, they are clearly listening to us, so that is so amazing of them. Of course, we expect this because we want this game to be the best that it is possible, because it has this great potential, but there's definitely a lot of things that could be improved. But even without those, I am very enjoying myself playing this. But for me, one of the biggest issues personally as a content creator right now is that the Ansel and the NVIDIA experience doesn't work for this game, and I don't know why, because it's working for Planet Zoo, it is working for Planet Coaster 1. I am using this for thumbnails, I am using this to like make those really high quality screenshots for the showcases of my builds. So without this, I can still do nice screenshots, but it was so much easier and quicker, especially for nice thumbnails. So I really hope that NVIDIA will do something about this and just, give a support to this game, because that would be totally amazing and so useful for me as a content creator. So after the whole station was done, it was time to do the scenery around it. This actually took me some time. I created some of the rock formations using the Mediterranean rocks, and I also added a lot of different plants around it to make the whole ride nicer. So when the guests will go with this amazing speed, I know that it will be probably hard to notice those details on the way, but it is still nice. There's also this like a little tunnel that the coaster is going through, and this is also going through the station. This is something that isn't in the Furious Backhoe, like the original one, but unfortunately I just did that. I don't know why. I just did this track a bit too close to the station, and I had to go and figure this out, and I hope that it looks nice. I think that it looks a bit more like even attractive. So yeah, I hope you guys will like it as well. I of course had to add the entrance to the whole coaster and the exit. The paths are amazing. I love the new path tool, but it is still a bit hard for me to work with the paths on the inclines. I don't know why, but doing like those stairs and everything, I didn't include that in the video because it was a huge struggle to make. But overall, I just love the pathing in Planet Coaster 2. And I also created like a little beach section in there because this coaster goes like very close to the water. I forgot to mention that, but I created like a big like lake or pond that will be sort of like in the middle of our park, and this coaster actually has some supports in the water, so I also had to create like those bottoms of those supports because I thought it looked a bit weird with those just pipes going into the water. So to make this section of the ride a bit more interesting, I just created this beach with some of those I don't know, small boats for some filming, and yeah, this was basically all when it comes comes to the coaster. And as you guys can see right now, we are creating like the proper entrance to our park. So this is where the guests will be scanning their tickets when they will actually, after they will actually buy it and go a bit through our Mediterranean town. Then there will be time to scan the ticket, and then they will enter like a little plaza that will have a lot of different shops, I don't know, lockers and different things. So this is something that we'll do in the future. I will probably do, whenever I will add a new episode to this, I will work on some of the buildings, because there will be a lot of those buildings in there, and I don't want to, you know, just commit one video to just creating those buildings that look basically very similar. So also in here, I just will create this one entrance, and I won't do much more in the speed builds. I will show you this in the cinematic shots, but if you are interested on how I am actually building those buildings, I did quite a lot of them in the first episode of the series. So if you haven't watched that, definitely go there and check it out. You guys also asked me for some tips for more realistic building, and I'll show you one in this video very quickly, because I saw already some people doing this little mistake. Maybe it's not a huge mistake, but when you have windows and you have those windows in Planet Coaster, don't just attach them to the walls, because the windows are not just simply attached or like coming out of the walls. I don't know if you can understand me, but yeah, usually they are like a bit sunken into the walls, and this is what I am doing for all those buildings. It takes a bit more time, but I think it is absolutely worth it, because the buildings look so much more realistic. So just, you know, taking a simple window, sinking it into the wall a bit, and then, you know, just adjusting the walls around it makes such a huge difference. So yeah, that was one of my tips. And this is all when it comes to the speed build part of this video. I will meet you a bit to ride the coaster with you, and also show you everything that is new in our Puerto del Sol. Let's ride our first coaster in Puerto del Sol. In a second, we'll be launched outside of this building, where we will be able to see all the scenery that I did. Yes, it is in here. We are going through this little canyon that I created, and in a second we'll enter this like little building that is vineyard themed as all the builds. We are going through this tunnel in a station, and then towards the water through this twist, and I can imagine that it will look just amazing when the whole park will be just done. Yeah, we are now very close to the water, and we are going back to the station. So definitely not the longest coaster, but it is very fast, it is very twisty, and actually after testing it, it has all the stats for our guests in the green color, like the fear, nausea, and also the excitement. So I was quite surprised by this, because it means that I was kind of able to nail it. Of course, the smoothing tool is like a saving grace for me, for a person who doesn't know what the heck he is doing when it comes to building coasters. I am so glad that I decided to go for this Mediterranean theme, because I love the theming of this build. It is so me, it is themed but still realistic, and doesn't go into this cartoony way that I don't quite enjoy. I think that this is so nice, and I honestly cannot wait to build more. I wanted to thank you once again for the amazing response to the first episode of this series. I hope you will enjoy the second episode just as much. Almost 1,500 of you subscribed to my channel after the first episode, so thank you so much for such a warm welcome into Planet Coaster 2 community. You guys are just the best, and it is so cool to have you here, and I hope you will enjoy this journey of building this coaster park with me. Here's also some more shots of the town that we sort of expanded in today's episode as well. And yeah, this is all when it comes to this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please consider to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and if you want to see more episodes of the Puerto del Sol. If you guys liked the video, please consider to give it a big thumbs up down below. Ring the bell if you want to be notified every time I upload a new video, and let me know down in the comments below what you think about the builds. Do you like it, or there's something that maybe I can improve? If you like to support the channel a little bit extra, you can do it with the join button down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys!